So we're going to start out talking about closings and simultaneous closing and assignment closing. So let's get started here. Simultaneous closing. What it is when you have two closings on the same property on the same calendar day. Okay? It has to be on the same calendar day. Because if it's not on the same calendar day, it's no longer called a simultaneous closing or a double closing. So what you do is you meet up with the buyers, you get it signed, and you collect the funds from the buyer, and then you meet with the seller, get that signed, and then the title company is the one that's holding all of this money, and they are the one that transfer the money accordingly, and give the bulk of it to pay off the loan for the buyer, for the seller if they have a loan on the property. If not, then the bulk of it goes to the seller, and then the remaining goes to goes to the buyer, goes to any other liens, including an assignment fee or. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm talking about the simultaneous closing. So actually, you are the seller. So what happened is this: once the paperwork is signed, the title company will then take that money that they collected from the end buyer. Okay, take that money that they collected from the end buyer. They will then pay whatever they need to pay on the first closing between you and your seller. Okay, so pay the seller some money, and then whatever's left, they use that to pay you out of your closing, and then deduct all of their closing costs and things of that nature. The extra closing cost that comes with a simultaneous closing are your title insurance and any document preparation or recording fees. Here in Texas, our recording fees are not based on not based on the price of the home. They're based on the number of pages. So it's a lot less expensive here to do that. But in some states where your recording fee is based on the sales price of the home, then your recording fees is more. But regardless, it's still not outrageously enough to kill any deal. Okay, so that's what happened in a simultaneous closing, and so in a simultaneous closing or double closing, there's two deeds that happens. Okay, there's two warranty deeds that are given out. First, you have the deed from the seller to you, okay, and then you have a deed from you to the seller, because you are now once the seller deed the house to you, you're now the new owner, and then you're gonna deed that over to the buyer, so that way now they are the owner, okay, and the buyer's the one that's bringing the money to fund you and your seller. Now, there are cases where title companies won't allow you to do this, but they do allow you to do a simultaneous closing, just not the funds coming from your buyers, where it's coming from you. Okay, so meaning when you close with the seller, you have to fund that deal, and then when you close with the buyer, then the buyer funds their deals. If you do run across title companies that require that, write down this web address for a lender that does these back-to-back closing funding. They're called coastal-funding.com. coastal-funding.com. Okay, so they do these back-to-back closings. So they just charge you I think 2% or something like. They charge you. I think it's $500 for the application, and then 2% of the loan. Okay, so it does cost you a little bit more money. It's not free, and they'll loan that money for that day that you need to do the closing. It's not a long-term loan, so you can't close with their money and close again 30 days later. Their loan is only for within 1 to 2 days. So, and in order for you to qualify for their loan, you have to show them your contract with your seller and your contract with your buyer. And if they see those two contracts, then that's the only qualification they need. They don't get an appraisal on the house. They don't get inspection on the house or any of that. If there is a title hang-up, it would have been notified way ahead of time before closing date already. Yeah. Any title, I mean, by the time your closing date comes around, all of the title issues has already been clear. That lender lends nationwide. Right. That's not a title company. That's a lender. They do have a title company that they work with within that lender that can close nationwide too. So their title company totally understands how this process works. Coastal, COASTAL, -funding.com. Okay, coastalfunding.com. That's that website alone is worth at least $3,000. So make sure you send me back 10% royalty fee for each deal that you close with them. No, it's nationwide. It's nationwide. Well, okay, hold on. Coastal Funding is a lender. They lend nationwide. They also work with a title company. If you want to close with the title company that they are associated with, that title company can close nationwide. Okay? And using back-to-back funding is a lot more popular with short sales and REOs. With short sale type deal and bank-owned REOs type deals, because in a bank-owned or short sale type deals, they don't want to, the title company has to disclose everything, and the bank don't want to see that you don't have your own fund to close on it and that you're using the buyer's fund. Okay, so in those cases, for any of you, and I'm not going to talk about REOs funding, REOs today. We'll probably talk on another topic, but that is going to become one of the much more popular topics in the next couple of years to come. Because there's so many bank-owned properties right now. So I mean, I don't have time this weekend to teach about that, and but I will probably do a webinar about that sometime later on to teach you how you can flip REOs type deals, and because there's going to be so many out there, it's pretty incredible. And the best thing, if you're going to do REOs, and what you're doing here is totally going to set you up for it. The key to making REO wholesaling works is by having landlords line up, having landlord buyers line up. Okay, because the landlords you would know exactly what criteria they are looking for. They tell you, I want 2-bedroom, 3-bath in this part of town, or in this city, between 900 to 1,500 square feet. So landlords the more experienced ones anyways, they'll give you very specific criteria, and then they'll tell you, I'm willing to pay this much for it. So then all you have to do is get on the MLS, make some offers, use a lender like Coastal Funding to fund the deal, and close it to those landlord buyers. But until you have buyers in place, it's a lot of risk for you to make an offer to the REO lender, and then you back out of those deals. Okay, so yes, Coastal Funding will provide proof of funds letter. Yes, that's the cool thing about them.
If you have a retail
Retail buyer who have FHA, will this still work? The answer is, well, FHA has a 90-day seasoning of title. Recently, recently they announced the temporary waive of that 90 days. But I don't know what's I don't know what's going on with that just yet.